The alien researchers had never seen anything quite like it. Deep in the ruins of the ancient star system on the planet they called Scifi, an old and forgotten warship lay dormant for centuries. Covered in layers of dust and rubble, it looked like nothing more than a relic, an artifact of a civilization long gone, yet it intrigued the scientists. There was something about the ship that felt different. Dr. Alira, the head researcher, stood before the massive vessel. Her antennae twitched as she studied the ship's structure. The hull was battered, as if it had seen many battles, but the technology was unlike anything her species had ever encountered. It was primitive by their standards, yet strangely advanced in its own way. The material was unlike any metal they had ever found in the galaxy. "Is it active?" Dr. Viker asked, his voice betraying a mix of curiosity and skepticism. He was the ship's chief engineer and had been studying its power source for days. Alira shook her head. "No, it's completely powered down, but the readings, they don't make sense. This ship could have been built millions of years ago, but it's still emitting strange energy signals, like it's waiting." The ship was clearly ancient. It was clearly too advanced to be from any known species in the galaxy. No one had seen anything like it in the records they had gathered from their species' long travels. They had no idea who or what had built it, but they were about to find out. The crew of the research vessel continued to study the ship, using all their technology to analyze every inch, yet nothing seemed to make sense. It was as though the ship was both alive and dead at the same time, frozen in a moment of time. And then, without warning, something happened. The ship's engines roared to life. Lyra's antennae shot up in shock as the massive warship suddenly hummed with energy. Power surged through its long dormant surface, and the hull vibrated with an intensity that made the ground beneath their feet shake. It was as though something deep inside the ship had awakened. "Impossible?" Dr. Viker shouted, stumbling back. "It should have been deactivated. There's no way." Before he could finish, a loud, commanding voice filled the air. It wasn't the voice of any alien species they knew. It wasn't even a language they recognized. "This is the United Terran Navy. Identify yourself." The voice echoed through the ship's speakers, loud and authoritative, its tone chilling the researchers to the bone. Alira and Viker exchanged nervous glances. No one on the crew had ever heard anything like this. Who could be speaking? And why would it be coming from such an ancient vessel? "Terran? What is that?" Viker muttered, his confusion deepening. Alira's eyes widened in realization. "Humans." The words slipped out of her mouth before she could stop it, and it sent a shiver down her spine. She had heard of humans, but they were a myth, a long-forgotten race believed to have been wiped out centuries ago in a galactic war. But if this ship was truly human, then that meant something far more dangerous. The researchers' comm screens flickered, and a holographic figure appeared in front of them. It was a humanoid shape, with short, dark hair and a stern expression. The figure was wearing a military uniform with a symbol they recognized from old history records, an eagle with a banner reading United Terran Navy. "You are trespassing on a United Terran warship. This is a direct violation of galactic law." The voice was now unmistakably human, its tone unyielding and authoritative. Alira's heart raced. They had discovered something they never expected, a relic that was alive, a ship powered by a lost civilization. But what they had awakened was far more dangerous than they could have imagined. What do we do now?" Viker asked, his voice shaky. "This ship is too powerful for us to control. If it was human, that means they were the most advanced species in the galaxy before they vanished." Alira glanced around nervously. The warship's systems were coming online rapidly. It was clear that whatever had happened to the humans, they had left behind a legacy that was still alive, and it had no intention of staying dormant. "Warning, warning. Weapons systems online." The ship's internal voice cut through the air again, and suddenly the research vessel was caught in the crosshairs of something far more deadly. A series of blinding lights flashed in the distance as the warship's massive cannons powered up. "No!" Alira shouted, stepping forward. "Stop! We don't want any trouble. We're just explorers, researchers. We mean no harm." But the ship didn't listen. The figure in the hologram stared down at them coldly. This is your final warning. Cease all actions or face immediate retaliation. The research crew could only watch in disbelief as the warship powered up. The ancient ship, seemingly abandoned for centuries, was ready to fight, to defend itself and its long-lost creators. The Terrans had never truly been gone, it seemed. They were merely waiting. Alira stepped back, overwhelmed with the realization that they had awakened something they could never control, something that, despite its age, had more power than the entire research fleet combined. The ship's engines roared louder, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. The humans had left behind a warship unlike anything else in the galaxy, one that was now awakening, ready to defend itself against any threat. We need to leave," Vicor whispered, "before it destroys us all," but it was too late. The ship's weapons fired, and the research vessel vanished in an instant, reduced to debris by the might of the long-dormant Terran warship. As the warship's systems powered down once more, silence returned to the ruins of Xylith. The ship settled back into its long slumber, waiting for the next time someone would dare disturb it. And far across the galaxy, on a distant world, a new generation of humans would soon learn that their ancestors had left behind more than just memories. They had left behind a legacy, a warning that would echo through the stars forever.